Where's that thing with this? Do not know where the thing with this. Thought I had the thing with the stuff, but I do not have the thing with the stuff. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh, I gotta plug my phone. Oh, yes, I know. I know. Okay. Oh, that's why that doesn't work. That is why that doesn't work. You know, let's fix that right now, because that is something. Let's see. Edit. Set scene. We don't have that scene anymore. We have a dev. Apply. And gaming is not game. What is it now? It is game left. Or game vert. It could be game vert. I'm gonna say game left. Okay. I really need to sort out my screens a little better. All right. Let's see if they even work. Dev scene. Hey, look, it's a dev scene. Now what I should really have is multiple dev scenes. That'd be kind of handy. We should also load up our other stuff. Wait, do we have other stuff? Oh, that one is loaded. We need to load up the other one. The other one. There we go. There we go. The other one. Good evening, everybody. What do I got here for icons? Do a little hello. Bam. Okay. Ooh, what does this say? What does this say? Do 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 do. No wonder I'm getting lag. I'm looking at the wrong screen. There. Now I'm looking at the correct screen. Hello, everybody. Just getting a few things up here. In fact, we need to post that we are in fact live. Oh my goodness. What was that? That was bright. That was bright. Bum, 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 bum. All right, let's see. We got to post this over here. Do 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 do. Bam. And it didn't post my... I do not know. I would be very interested in knowing the conditions when you post your Twitch link in Discord. What the conditions are for of getting the little card. The little card that has what you are doing. You know, what your go live, your category, and all that fun stuff. Yesterday's bed tonight. And what else? What else? What else? Oh. Okay, let's see. Gonna minimize that, I think, and do a thing over here. And then we should be pretty much good to go. Good to go. Go in ye old filing cabinet here. Filing cabinets make the best bases for a desk. Just 100%. 100%. Best base for a desk. Okay. Do that one. Is it this one? It is this one. Save that there. Save that there. There. And now we are good to go. You have my almost full attention. My almost full attention because I have a very noisy toddler banging on the walls above my head. Take a little wiggle water here and let's get the party started. Okay. Tonight, where's my calipers? Tonight we're going to be doing pseudo engineering, unless I can find a... Should I find a quick and dirty model? Maybe I should find a quick and dirty model. It would be more fun to model it myself, though, I suppose. Okay, so what we're going to do... We got the right screen? Got the right screen? Now we have the right screen. Okay. Checking my distance. Another fun thing, when I lean too far forward, the leap motion, which is right here, it sends my arm up through my armpit. I can't do it on purpose, but if I lean a little far forward and use my mouse, that's why my arm goes up into, up here. That, like that, right there. Bam. Craziness, huh? Tonight's grand plan, twofold, because that's probably all we'll be able to get done tonight. Oh, we caught it just in time. You get to see all the chairs fall over. All the chairs fall over up in here. Up in here. Okay, so first order of business. Zooming out a little bit. Oh, what was the key? What was the shortcut key? I do not... Oh, P. I don't know why it was P. But in real time, we can change the position of the sun. Let's say we want it to be noon. Bam, it is now noon. We want it to be, let's see, what would this be, like 5 o'clock or so. Bam, it is now 5 o'clock. Shadow quality is a little iffy. Wonder what we can do to increase that. It's a good question. That was a good question. But we have a toggle. Is what we did last time here. We have it set to lerp, so that moves smoothly instead of harshly. But yes, we are controlling the sun. It is basically the directional light that is playing our sun. Our sun? So if you look, that's why it looks like there is no shadow, because it's just full on light. Because it is the direction of the camera. So the direction, yeah, it's attached to the camera, the third person follow camera that we use for looping around Rusty here. If you look really close, you can see a shadow hiding behind us, or if you look at anything in the surroundings. Oh, look at that go. So if I want to quickly reposition the sun easily, not go find a button on the interface or a chunk of a thing, something in the interface, find out where it is in the properties menu or anything like that, because I could easily set the time of day as a variable, a slider. I will anyways, in case I don't want the quick and dirty method. But look, bam, now the sun is coming from that direction. I do want it though. I do need more controls. More controls will be added for the lighting, because this is bright. If I want it to be a little bit more dim or nighttime, then I do have to go in and manually currently have to go in and manually adjust the color sliders and such. That is entirely too bright. That is entirely too bright. And it is really interesting to me. Apparently I have my monitors set real bright. So if I look at a cell phone, the blacks are all like dark. If I look at it on my screens, I look at my computer screen, it looks fine. If I look at the preview on my phone, it's like, man, that is really, really dark. So whenever I post screenshots now, I have to be careful. I don't know if it's a different color space. Yeah, I don't know if it's different color space or what's going on with that, but yeah, they tend to be quite a bit darker. Okay, where were we? Okay, we got that. Oh, we have a shiny surface right there. There's some cameras we can play with later. As I come across interesting props, I just kind of toss them out onto the onto there. Bam. Just toss them out into the wilds. That's why we have some random props just kind of laying down like this this little, looks like a DSLR and a much nicer camera. Oh, Noodle Cat, welcome in, welcome in. What were you up to tonight? Were you working on the snake game again? It's fun to see how that's progressing. Though I must admit, last time I saw you, it was I think it was late at night or something. So I just saw it on the phone, the little tiny phone screen. So I have to catch your stream on the computer so I can see it in all its full resolution glory sometime. But welcome in, welcome in. I have to lock my camera before I make myself seasick over here. Let's do a one of these. That way I can see what you're up to. And then we will do the actual shout out, because for some reason the Stream Elements bot doesn't let you put commands within like the actual Twitch commands within the command, or at least I haven't figured it out yet. But I can just do a double shout out. But yes, welcome in, welcome in. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I am Rusty Robot Factory. We're currently working on I'll show you what we're working on. We are currently working on our own little VTubing environment that is more or less a game. And it looks like, hold on, we gotta fix the thing here first, so I can actually properly read my alerts. Where's my alerts? Get over here. Get over here. We're doing this live. Oh, really? I guess we're not doing this live. Come on, get over here. I was messing with my chat, my chat bubbles. No, I guess that is correct. It comes from the other side now. Ah. But yes, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. What are we doing? What are we doing today? There we go. We are working on within my Unity environment. It's been a Monday. It has been a Monday. Let me start over. Currently playing around in Unity. Working on my streaming environment / game. We have an office. We're going to stack it full of some retro hardware, some other fun stuff. But this will be my little just chatting area. When I want to say hi to all y'all. And this office is within a warehouse that started off as a default level to show off the asset pack. And we've been modifying it ever since. But there's going to be a broken down factory. See, we're throwing debris around everywhere and all sorts of fun stuff. A little too bright in here right now. I'll have to fix that later. In this project, this is my project where I'm throwing all my assets together and making the abandoned factory of the Rusty Robot Factory project. And then once I get it looking pretty much how I want, I'm going to package it all up and put it in a nice clean project. So it's not super bloated full of a million different things. Oh, your neck hurts. Oh, that's no good. Well, I hope you feel better. No worries about raiding and running. And I hope you feel better. Good luck with the stream. Well, thank you. Let me just try and fix chat one more time here. For some reason, chat is being... Not you guys. Sorry. Not you guys. My chat display is being unpleasant. I'll have to see what I called it over here. Not that one. While I'm trying to figure this out, we also have a robot, an actual robot controlled by the VTubing software. He moves, he talks, he tilts his head, he nods, he does all the fun stuff that I can do minus hands and a nice clean suit. Because he's comfy in his sweatshirt here. He will hopefully be joining us on Wednesday. I think I figured out what was why he was misbehaving last time. I had turned off the smoothing. There we go. Turned off some of the smoothing on his servos because I was trying to do it a different way. And it didn't work properly. Nope, that one's not working either. That was concerning. We're not gonna have any chat today? Oh geez. Well, you know what? We might not just have you guys on the screen today, so that is something I'm gonna need to figure out. That is definitely something I'm gonna need to figure out. Oh, Nix, you had an epiphany. Alarm clock Rusty needs wheels. He has to drive away at high speed. I fully endorse this idea. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. I love it. I love it. All right, dev. I will figure out why chat's not working later. That's a shame. Okay. Yes, drive away at high speed. Yes. Because it is an alarm clock. And what good is an alarm clock if it doesn't get you going? If it doesn't, get you woken up and ready to roll. Okay. Streaming tools. I bet we have to make the bot leave and then come back. But that's a problem for later. Okay. Where were we? We were going to show off some of the stuff we've been working on. So we have the office. Oops. I need a different door. For there. We have the office, and we also have, oh my goodness, that is still neon. That is a very bright physics-based rope. Oh, welcome in, Amber. Welcome in. We just got rated by the lovely, as always, Noodle Cat Does Things. And my chat display is not working properly, so apologize if the text doesn't show up on the screen. Oh, Nix, did you not come in with the Noodle Cat raid? Yeah, Noodle Cat was here just a short minute ago. Brought a bunch of lovely folks with them. But yes, tonight we are going to be doing some work here. Get rid of these lovely gray matte walls. We're doing a little bit of work here. I'm going to get the circuit board done, which would be right where I'm standing. And probably in this wall right here. Because in the oh well, you just missed the Raiders. You got caught up in their wake as they sailed on in. But yes, so inside of Rusty the robot's head, inside my head, a couple of joints and a lot of space. Inside Rusty's head, there is a Arduino Mega taking up most of this space where I am walking right now. So what we might do is we might kind of fudge the distance here so we can still walk through. Or not. An alternative would be to put a, zoom out a little bit, to put a catwalk in. Pretty much, you know, where the floor drops off right here. Put a little catwalk in so you have to walk around. Kind of like that idea. Put a catwalk in so you have to walk around. And then still have the Arduino board right here. But I do appreciate the scale of this. Did I put colliders on? I did not put colliders on any of this yet. It's a problem for future, another problem for future Rusty, I think. Although maybe we could try it out real quick, put a collider on there just to see. Because it'd be nice to be able to stand on top of things. There we go. Yes, as we found out last time with this this rope plugin, cable rope plugin, it wasn't super. It's good for what it is, but it doesn't have a whole lot of interactivity with it. You can move around to the endpoints, and oddly enough, not the middle. And now my chat is super delayed in the corner of the screen. That is odd. I'm just gonna hide that for today. Isn't it funny how something can work great in testing and then fail miserably live? It's just something, isn't it? Okay, let's see where you stay put. And you, well, okay, hold on. I want to get a better idea again of there we go, rope test. This is why we name things properly. Helps if you have them in the right spot though. Here we go. Okay, so that's the upper one. And here's the lower one. There we go. Okay. So for some basic stuff, this rope plugin is fantastic. Like if you're just looking for like something in the background that still moves around or sways in the wind, I think it's great for how like optimized rope and cable, for how optimized it is and everything. It's just low overhead because I don't think it's doing a whole lot of physics stuff. Welcome in, Vic. Okay, I've been meaning to ask you, Is it Vic or VIC? Because I noticed the VIC is capitalized. But one of my ideas, either one, fair. So one of my ideas for using this this rope, this easy rope plugin, let's make it a little shorter. See, I mean, look at how easy it is. And I think these properties are all exposed, so you can control them with code. Like I could have like the Rusty straining against the cords, dragging them behind them. You know, it could be very nice for doing the lightweight. Lightweight. Why is it doing that? It's colliding with the camera. Okay, so the box has physics and the rope does not. Check. Okay. But either way, I think it'd be nice to add some atmosphere with it, like as things move, but not necessarily player interactable. So as they're animated. Especially right above our heads here. Especially right above our heads here in... Come on, up the stairs. Right above our heads inside of Rusty's head. So as, you know, some of these objects are moving, the cords can move too. The cabling and such. Okay, good. Take care of it. But yes, so that's not on tonight's agenda, but it's a little pseudo update from last time. Last Monday. Okay. So that's on the to-do list, but first, the Arduino board. And what that looks like is in one of my folders on my desktop, because I got back into the bad habit of everything just goes in on the desktop. So this is the actual board inside of his head. It's Arduino Mega with some extra pieces. It's a Key Studio branded, so it's their version of an Arduino Mega. A regular Arduino, like an Uno, it's hard to say regular anymore because there are so many variations now. So fun thing about the size of an Arduino, it was originally designed to fit inside of a why did I want to say Tic Tac? It's not Tic Tac. Altoids. It was originally designed to fit inside of an Altoids tin. So that's the size of an Arduino Uno. So an Arduino Uno is about, you know, from this corner down to this corner. It's roughly that size. So these boards are not big. You know, these are not large electronics devices. They're made for a little microcontroller to sit in a small frame. The Mega is a little bit beefier. It's got a little bit more memory. I think it's the same speed, but it's got a little bit more memory. And importantly for this project, a whole bunch of more connections we can use, like over on this side. So that's why that's one of the reasons I went with it. One of the reasons I went with this board, or this company's board in particular. A, affordable but not a knockoff. B, you can plug servos and LEDs directly into it instead of having to have a separate power source. So that's cool. Normally, you can only run so much power through one of these little guys, but this one's a little beefier. So these little pairs of yellow, in this case, like yellow, orangish, and blue, correspond with these right here. You got yellow. This would be the orangish, and this would be the blue, I think. Yeah. So in reality, it's this color right here on the board should be brown, but the blue is definitely easier to see. It'd be nicer if it was a corresponding color arrangement, but that's just how it is. So yeah, you can plug some of these, an amount of these, directly into the board itself to control it. Saves space, saves everything. Rusty needs a little bit more power because I am running a little bit larger servos and a whole bunch of them. So let me find that picture because that is also important for reference. There we go. There he is. There he is. Why didn't I just show that right there? Ta-da! So this is the inside of Rusty's head. As of a little bit ago, when I started modeling the inside of his head for the Unity project. So here is that board. See right now, not everything is hooked up. I think these are his eyes, the eye connections. Here's an LED, and his neck movement is back here somewhere. But those are all being connected through this little board that sits on top. And what this one does, this one takes another power source. So we're not stressing the Arduino itself. In fact, there's the power for it. Right there, there's the little 5-volt plug coming in. So that powers all these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So at this point, I had 6 servos coming in through here. And then the LED for his eye was over here. Where's the other one? Oh, there must be another one behind here because he should have one for his blinky. His blinking eye. It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. But yes, so that's how this is more or less the inside of his head, which we are going to be modeling tonight in Maya to fill in the blanks and at least get the board in there. Welcome in, Slime Slime. I said it right this time instead of thigh slime. A little bit of tongue twister. Catchy though. Catchy though. Yes, so tonight's goal, get at least an approximate version of the board, the control board, in there. And then hook up some more of the cabling so they're lovely draped all over the place and hard to walk through. I envision it kind of like a being able to turn on the happy mode, the nicely lit, the nicely lit factory look, and then go to the less pleasant mode, the horror game, where there's going to be some puddles of coolant laying on the ground and dark mood lighting. The emergency lights are flickering a little bit. Cables swaying in the breeze and sparking. Oh, it's one of the cool things about doing this within the game engine is being able to control it like that, being able to do those kind of fun projects. Okay, can I put this really small off camera? I'm going to guesstimate this, or I'm not going to bring it into, there we go. I'm not going to bring it into Maya. So I'm going to, I was going to measure it, but that doesn't work unless I would take it out of his head. Well, I'll be right back. Okay, 100 millimeters. Whereas an Uno is roughly 70. It's like 68 or so. Probably 69 just for giggles. Okay. And one of the fun things I discovered, one of the fun things we discovered about this is that when I export something from this project as an FBX, it saves it, or it exports it based on the world origin in here, which means when it's imported, everything shows up where it should be. So if I put something like right there, I export that, it shows up in the same, where are we? In the same relative spot. In this case, it would show up right there in that corner. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic news. So, if I really wanted to be quicker about this, I would see if anybody's already modeled a version of this this lovely little board. But we're gonna see about doing it ourselves here. Another smart thing to do would probably be do it in CAD. But as we know, I do take it out of Fusion, which I use for CAD, and bring it into Maya. So many triangles. Look at this. So many triangles. Oof. Before I do the final project, I will I will clean up the topology of some of these items. And some of them are currently just placeholders, like the back of the lens here. I mean, look at that. That is a ridiculous number of triangles for our project. Ridiculous. But for today, a P cube. And the P is for polygon. Don't get any funny ideas. Okay, so the width is, using an Arduino for scale here. I suppose I could just look up the stats. That would probably be even better than what we're doing right now. But what we're doing right now is we got about 54, we'll call it. So 5.4. The height will do, that is not thick at all. We'll call it 0.2. And this we'll call 10. Bam. And that's our board. Okay. So how we're going to look at it is this point of view right here, because that's how my source material is. Bam, just like that. Just like that. And the smart thing to do would be to bring this image into the project, because then I can just easily drop things in. But why would we do it the easy way? Why would we do it the easy way? So we're going to get a rough idea. Now, what I was playing around with, and why the robot is in kind of a interesting state right now, in between state, is because I was playing with a new neck. I think I showed off some stuff last time. There we go. We were upgrading his neck, putting in a stepper motor, like you would find on like a 3D printer, or a hobby CNC machine. thought it'd be an upgrade. Moves great. Very, very smooth motion for this will be the nodding. So tilt like this. Very smooth motion. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold the weight very well at the extremes. So if it's tilted a little too far forward, it can't hold on. It just lets loose. If it's tilted too far back, same thing the other way, and then big plunk. And that's no good. That's no good because it doesn't have enough, apparently enough torque to move the robot's head the full range of motion, which is a shame. But to run this, there's a whole nother little circuit board that sits on top of here. So we're not going to model that. We might add it in the future. I think it'd be neat to keep this fairly accurate. So I can show off. It's like, well, what's inside Rusty's head? Oh, well, that's easy. You know, this is what's inside Rusty's head right here. Bam. But yes. But tonight we're going to do the board, and then we're going to do a little bit of a little bit more population of the rubble and such. Speaking of that, there is a you want to get a bunch of assets really cheap right now. Hashtag not sponsored. Let's bring up an incognito window for fun. Because otherwise they'll say, oh yeah, hello, Rusty, welcome back. Yes, I consent. Okay. So right now we have a humble bundle with a whole bunch of Cinti. That's this low polygon. They make low polygon assets. You can use them in Unity, Unreal. They also include FBXs, so you can use them all over the place. So for instance, oh, they're not showing pictures, but this one doesn't have as many of the big low polygon asset packs. It has more of the simplified ones, which is like smaller stylized things. Let's see. Just make sure I'm not logged in on here. So I picked this one up because I did not have the construction pack. Like, look at all this stuff you can do with it. Look it. And obviously they do a good job with their promotional material here, but so this includes construction equipment, rubble, you know, fun stuff to build stuff with. Even like power tools. That's kind of cool. I'm not going to use those here, but a lot of this stuff I will use. Give that construction-y look. There you go. Guy carrying an I-beam. Always accurate. But that one doesn't look ridiculously huge. That one doesn't look ridiculously huge. You know, whenever you see someone carrying around a metal I-beam, you gotta wonder if they're a superhero, because those not light objects. Okay. Okay. So subdivisions width. Let's add a few. Let's see, we need at least 1, 2, 3. And we will subdivide this as well later. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make it even. 6. Subdivisions height. Oop, not that one. Depth. No, I changed my mind. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this manually. We're gonna do this manually by slicing and dicing. All right. Okay. Ooh, first. No. Undo. Freeze transforms. Center the pivot. Now. That is bizarre. I think I did something to anger it. I see what I did. There. I had all of the faces selected. It has been a long week. It has been a long week. It is Monday today. It has been a long week. Is this going to give us some funky... It looks like it's going to give us some really funky geometry. Oh my gosh, guys. Let me tell you. Okay. Let me tell you. So I keep looking over, slightly distracted, because my toddler is not falling asleep nicely. He is not having a good time tonight. Time change issues, part of it. Poor little critter. There it goes. Poor little critter. So we're going to pull that in a little bit from the outside. We're going to make another set here. Actually, what would the best be? I think we need to make these separate objects for now. Oops. Get out of here. I think we just need to make these separate objects for now. Now that I think about it. Okay, so we got the start of the board. And we are going to we're just gonna add some of these objects right in. And I'm gonna eyeball it because it doesn't need to be perfect. That one goes to about there. And up a little bit more. Well, I should say we're going to eyeball it, but we are going to measure it. 2.3 millimeters thick. How about that? With a height of about 8. A little over 8. 0.3. I had it pretty good. I might as well just measure there and things. Okay. See, 8.8. And how big are you? This will be a guesstimate actually, because they don't quite line up. 25. We got 25, we got a 21, but we are going to we're going to be a little bit sad because these are not showing up like they should be. Like, where is this guy? He does not exist in the hypergraph. We're having that issue that we had that one time, or sometimes. Sometimes we have an issue where, I don't know why, but there's a bug in my version of Maya, an older version of Maya. There's a bug where sometimes I need to reload the file in order to see everything. Otherwise my hypergraph doesn't work, or the outliner. The outliner doesn't work, so you can't see what's inside. It looks like I do need to close down Maya. Okay. Close it down, reopen it back up. Assuming it lets us. Now the good news is I mentally figured out how I want to do this. And then it won't be so bad. But we do need to reload. We do need to reload it. And then we will be able to theoretically. Or if not, barring that, we will just switch over. There we go. We will just switch over and start populating the rubble. Okay. Okay, well, how far were you from the edge so we can get another good barometer? Now, if this was in CAD, I would sketch this all out first and then extrude everything. So it'd be lovely done that way. But the flip side of that is when you bring it into Maya or anything, it switches from a solid modeling. So what you see is what you get, to polygons, triangles in this case. And then you get this lovely blue stuff. This is all triangles, way too many triangles. So it's a little heavier than the rest of our scene, the rest of our assets, which are like myself. Which is why we're going to be retopologizing a number of these objects. But like I said, for now, oops, 1.7. For now, we won't worry about that as much. Let's see. Let's just do this. And also, I think for now, we're just going to kind of do it kind of quick and dirty. We have a little gap, a small gap in between that one, and a larger gap in between these. Except these are shorter. Make another cube. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't freeze our Maya again. But this one is going to be. We're going to do the 2. What was it? 2.1. Welcome to Rusty's talking to himself a lot stream. Talking to himself a lot while we work through things. 2.3. 2.3. There we go. Okay. And now we roughly line things up. Because we're kind of doing look dev, the look development, more than we are doing some of the technical layout and such. They're relaxing. I do have a rather bassy resonant-y voice, which isn't isn't helped too much by using a podcasting mic, I suppose. So my Rusty has a cold or a sinus cold. Streams were especially deep and bassy as I've been going through some of the VODs. Yeah, there was a lot of bassiness in those. And it's funny when I talk to my children, they're still really young. I don't use the bassy voice so much. I default to like I'm talking to, like people talk to their pet. He's a little bit higher voice, not super squeaky, but it's interesting. It's just a default switch between the two. Unless you're doing soothing, like rocking them to sleep or something, then it's the bassy voice knocks them right out. Or at least it did when they were younger. Bassy speakers on the Rusty robot. I never even tried out the headset. It was busted. I picked it up out of a bargain bin. Where are we? Get rid of that. Hide the trailer. There we go. So you see the in this. Is it still green? No, I think I covered it up more. So you see the gamer headset on right here. The gamer headset on this side. Yeah, I didn't even get to test it out because it was pretty beat up before I mangled it. Picked it out of a bargain bin at a St. Vinny's, so like a Goodwill kind of store. But that's the most speaker we've got going on in the whole setup right now. One of the original designs, instead of having a disk drive for the mouth, one of the original Rusty designs, to signify a mouth for speaking, was a set of speakers, like side by side, and then something in the middle to signal, like a little readout to signify the mouth. So the design definitely evolved. I want to do an art stream again one of these days. I wanted to do an art stream. Working on some different concepts, and dig out the sketchbook and just either take a picture or more likely I'll probably just hook up a webcam, have it pointing down at my desk, and get that to show off the progression. Because I made the logo, designed the logo a while ago. That had to be like last September or so, I would think. And then I didn't actually finish it. It still needs to be broken up into line art. It is completed. It is completed, but it's completed in its draft form. And I've done a number of in the real world, I've done a number of very businessy, corporate-y logos. But yeah, I haven't done. I didn't even bust apart my own logo and start using it. That's why there's no Rusty Robot Factory logo on any of these things. I still have the Asset Pack company's logo on like some of the boxes and such. Really got to get working on that. Okay, what do we got here? We got roughly from there to about there. A little bit thicker. Aw, Nix. Wish you had a bassier voice. I enjoy your voice. Everybody's voice is like, gives it their own quality. Now, I don't always like my voice either. And it's funny you notice that the few times I've done daytime streams, not as deep. I don't talk a huge amount at work. Like I'm usually not in like a ton of meetings and such, or talking to a lot of customers or people or anything. So it's not like I'm overusing my voice by the end of the day, but at the same time, getting some use out of it, I suppose. But no, it definitely has a different quality if you catch me at 10 a.m. versus 10 p.m. Let's see, 2.3. We'll make that 5 then. And this track always gets me. I have to remove that track. And move back over to something a little bit more. There we go. Classic. I've been playing this album for like a year now. One of these days. Very, very low on the priority list to load up a new soundtrack. Or new... Well, essentially, it's a stream soundtrack. So, yes, soundtrack. Very low priority, though. Some background noise. But that chill wave track kind of gets me and starts... Like I said, it's already the end of a long day. Okay, how wide? It's about that wide. Height. What are we? Let's do 8. I think we had an 8. And depth, we will put this at 0.48. Seems about right. Oh, and then we need to raise all of those up in the air. What I had wanted to do was to really... Wow, it really does not like... My head really does not like creating cubes on the grid. That is what I have this set to. Create polygon cube. How do I get it to not do that? Because I only got through 1, 2, 3, 8. I got through 6 of them. I got through 6 cubes before it crapped out on me again. The alternative, well, I guess I'll just leave it for now because it does let me get through 6 of them. So the alternative is that when you hit the create cube or polygon, create polygon cube up here on the shelf, when you hit that, it makes you a 1x1 cube or whatever the default is, the default creation. Where is it? Create polygon preview. Whatever your default cube settings are. Here we go. Interactive completion creation. I'm going to turn that off for now. That's what the problem is. And it's got to be a bug in this version of Maya. But it makes, whatever your last cube settings, which is the default in Maya, so whatever you last did with a tool, it makes you that size cube at the world origin. So you got to move the stupid thing. So it's much nicer if it would just work properly of drawing it on the grid, 2 dimensions and then the 3rd dimension in a different viewport, or all in one viewport if you're using perspective. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Okay, since I need to select those, closing Maya, open it back up, and maybe we'll just toss it in, toss some colors on it and throw it in Unity right away. Just to see how big it is and how it looks. I'm going to make it a little different than it is in... There we go. Make it a little bit different than it is in here. Because in here, I have this nice little 3D printed riser for it. It's a riser and it so it raises it up off the board or off the surface a little bit, and then it also protects the edges, so it keeps it contained within this little box almost. It's more of a shelf than a box. And yeah, I found them on Thingiverse both for the... I'm holding an Arduino Uno right here, a spare, and then yeah, it keeps all the little connectors off of whatever surface you're putting it on. In my case, most of the time it's my desk when I'm experimenting with it, toying with it. Then it also protects the edges, which is nice. Banging them around. So that's what's inside Rusty's head. Maya's... Why is Maya not loading yet? There it goes. Let's see. But there we go. There. So what I was going to do instead, what I'm going to do instead of having this little shelf with the circuit board on the floor of Rusty's head. Oops. What we're going to have instead is going to be up on, like, as if it was in an actual electronics enclosure. So think of like if you worked on a desktop computer. Usually a desktop computer would have this instead of a laptop. There's little risers. So these little like a little bolt that props it up, keeps it just off of the surface, so you don't have the little electrical connections touching a metal surface or any surface really. And they're called standoffs. Where do I have? Who knows where I have a picture of a standoff? None handy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to model some standoffs in here because honestly, I would like to have them up on standoffs instead of on this 3D printed box shelf. But it's good enough, you know. It is close enough to what I want. Now this board right here that powers all of the servos, you know, in this case 6 of them. I thought I had more. There will be more. There are more. That's what it is. Okay, this is before I connected up a couple of the other things, and before we added the eyebrows, which is still in the future. So we still haven't added the eyebrows. But yeah, we're gonna fill up all these little pins here with connections. And right now it's just kind of haphazardly attached, sitting on top of another servo. So what I want to do is I do want to have proper standoffs to lift it above the surface and keep it secure. And I can do that. I bought the material. We're gonna make them out of brass. I'm gonna make them out of brass in my workshop, and that might be the next time we have a workshop stream. Get the old metal lathe going and make some brass tinsel. Lots of little brass chips, and we'll make basically little nuts and bolts to hold these electronics pieces apart from each other. Plus, I've really been wanting to play with the lathe and get back in the workshop again. do, do, do. There we go. Cube 9 is now shown. Group all those guys. Actually, we'll group. Well, cube 2, cube 3. Cube 3, you are a placeholder cube. And for some reason, they are not all at the same height. You. Really? Really? Okay. I have to zero all of them out if I want them all to be at the same. Is there an align tool? I always forget if there's an align tool. It would be super handy. Mirror, combine, smooth, merge, snapping. I know there's snapping, but for this few objects, and I don't want them to be the same level anyways. We could hunt down the shortcut key, or there. We could just fix them all that way, I suppose. Put them just below the surface. So there, we have the yellow pieces done. Well, the yellow pieces are on the side. I do want this huge power jack, this barrel, huge barrel jack on there. Another nice thing about this particular board is we have a USB-C connector. So it's a little bit more low profile, but you can also run more power through it, which is why this board is self-powered. Self-powered? Can self-power, yes. There we go. See, little USB-C connector connected to the computer. In my case, it is so I can communicate with it. So Rusty's computer can send all the little commands from his computer, from Unity in his computer, all little commands to turn the little servo motors a certain degrees. Oh, see you back in a bit, Nix. So they can all turn their little degrees and bring life to the robot. And also we got LED for the eyes. The virtual eye. So this side, the screen eye. Yeah, you can actually see the back of the screen in this photo. Oops, in this photo right here. I do have a screen separate, so that does not run through the Arduino. That would require something a bit more beefy. Not super beefy though, because you could do that on a Raspberry Pi, which I still have not used. Still have not used a Raspberry Pi. Someday. To move these three. Move those up a little bit. And this guy up a little bit, because it looks like we have to put our holes right there. So now we get to do the standoffs. See? Okay. That's the interactive placement, which I miss already. It dropped whatever I made last with the last settings at 0. Okay. Radius significantly smaller. 3/16. What does 3/16 convert to in millimeters? Let's see, 1/8. I'm doing this the non-Google way. There we go. Come on. Oh, come on. Maybe I should just do the Google way. My calipers is being fussy. Because I don't have a piece in front of me. There we go. 3/16 is 4.75 probably. Okay. So the radius of that, radius of 4.75 is 0.4723. We'll call it 0.23. 6, because we are doing heck. Subdivisions on the cap. We will leave these. Usually I don't do subdivisions because I'm doing more operations like extrusions and all sorts of fun stuff. So I usually leave it as an n-gon on the caps, but these are just going to be, what you see is what you get. Height 2. We'll scale these on their own later. So height of 2 is fine. Okay, let's see. Now for scale. How big is our Rusty? This one? How big is Rusty? Let's just teleport on over here. Because we can. Okay. So Rusty is roughly waist height is this big servo, the sideways one, which controls the side to side. Hold on. Let me line up with my tracking camera. There, the side to side. So if we bring in the board, I want it to be like a table. That'll work just fine. That'll work just fine. Okay. So if it's going to be a table, I'm going to raise that whole bit up just a little bit. no, we don't. We want the top of there to be a table so we can look into it. So we will make the top, the connecting pins themselves, these yellow bars, we'll make those the top. And then the standoff, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Oops. I'm going to cheat just a little bit. Focus. Literally, focus. There. And we're just going to bring it, pop it up through to the top just a little bit. And then rotate as needed. Move around and rotate as needed. In this case, 90 degrees. Might have put a little too much of a bevel on this. A little bit too much of a bevel on this. Offset, here we go. Offset 0.2, let's make it a 0.15. No, let's make it a 0.1. One of my favorite things about Maya is you can go back into the construction history, because we put this, we did this extrusion right away. And because I have the construction history, or just called the history, and I still have it on, it stores that in memory. So you have all these, think of them as like nodes. In fact, if we go into here, go way over here, so that polycube I should probably rename as Mega. Oh, it already doesn't like me. Cool. Well, anyways, it's the Mega. So this may or may not work. We want input and output connections. So here's a visual node-based the hypergraph. So it's not node-based so much as graphed, a graphed version of those tabs you see on the top right. So this is how everything's connected. See, first we made the cube, or this is the cube, and how we made it. And then we transformed it when we created it. Here's the first extrusion. Oh, here's the actual cube. There it is. The actual item. So here's the first extrusion. Yeah, or second, yes. Here's the original shape. The initial shading group, so it even has the shaders attached to it. So it has initial shading group. We don't have any other textures. That's why it's that default gray Lambert. And I love the Lamberts for this project because it's just flat shaded. You know, there's no glossiness to it. If I want something glossy, I can use, I can use a shinier material like a Fong or a Blinn, and it'll just pop. Like you look at that surface and be like, whoa, okay, that's a metallic or glass, glossy surface. And it'll stand out against everything else. So that makes less work, from a design artistry standpoint, right? It makes it pop more, which is less work for me, because then I don't need to make degrees of glossiness, because I am going for more of a cartoony, low polygon, flat shaded look. Not super well represented by my VC face version down in the corner. But as we get into, here we go. As we get into the lovely rendered version here. So there. See, so everything in here is flat shaded, and I'm letting the lighting do the work for getting that little extra there, that little extra work for I'm letting the lighting do the work for the mood, the quote unquote texturing. Because we have everything polygonal, so it doesn't need to have like a rough texture or a smooth texture. It just has this chunky texture because that's the look of everything. So if everything's cohesive, that's the word I was looking for. If everything's cohesive, then it doesn't really look out of place unless it's created in a different means. Like behind me here, that's all pixely, which is completely different than this smooth, flat shaded look. So that's my security screen experiment. A way of rendering a low pixel version of the scene. In this case, the camera is like somewhere in the ceiling. Somewhere in the ceiling in this general direction. But yes. So I really like this flat look, this flat shaded look. And man, it just looks good. But this is essentially what the lighting is, the lighting and the look and everything of the whole project. It's not set up quite the same in the asset project. It's not as pretty. The settings aren't tweaked quite as much. But the finished project will be when it's all brought back together. And we can jump between the different scenes. Currently we can just jump between an office that has been dropped into the space scene and the space station itself. So if you look down this corridor, way in the distance, that's where we were just a short bit ago. And here's the office. The office I've been using for, when did I start that? Probably almost a year now. Sometime last spring I brought the office setting in here when I was getting comfortable enough with Unity that'd be like, okay, I can start to experiment a little bit more than just this base asset pack, the base demo level in the asset pack, I should say. So I started experimenting more because I only started doing this kind of game devy kind of stuff last February, I want to say. I did some VTuber setup stuff before that to experiment with and to kind of get up to speed. I didn't really start doing, stuff where I could move around, like that, a little bit later. And then bringing in the motion control at the same time, really. So it's all a very exciting project. And as always, since we are here, we must pay homage to he who T-poses over us. All hail the T-posing Rusty in the sky, our benevolent ruler. Oh, and our gremlin, which we will definitely rig up sometime. At some point, we will definitely rig up this little fella at some point. Oops. Wait. This hand? This hand. He's currently our cameraman. Using one of his many Rusty Max Pro camera lenses on his head. Because as you can maybe tell from this hideous shade of chroma green, this is our green screen area. Where when the project is finished, I'll be replacing VC Face in the, depends which version of me you're looking at, I guess. In the bottom left, currently using VC Face, but one of the goals, many goals of this is to have transparent export from Unity and use this, this lovely shading, lit, everything, use this as my capture, my overlay, my streaming overlay. And then when I want to do more of a just chatting, we'd pop into the office setting, which is mostly complete in the warehouse, in the asset project, the other project. So it's mostly complete in the warehouse. It's a little bit different than this one, a little bit. But I am so looking forward to bringing back all the controls, all the controls, all the fun stuff, like, you know, being able to pick stuff up, move it around, and other fun things like, I don't know, stuff we haven't played with in a while, like the first person controls. I missed this. You know, we've been working on the, definitely not working on being in focus. We've been working on the asset pack stuff, building out the factory for like a month and a half now, 2 months maybe? Doing the 3D modeling and bringing the assets and all that fun stuff for the factory. That we haven't been doing some of the fun, wacky stuff here. Yeah. Got some fun motion control stuff. We've got, let's see, oops. I don't know what that button did. Way too many shortcut keys. Way too many shortcut keys. But some of the fun stuff we have is... Where's the flashlight? There we go. I have a flashlight hooked up with my hand tracking. Do we have a dark scene? Without me having to go manually turn off the lights. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ta-da! See? And this looks good when the lights are all turned out. In fact, we do. Let's just fly on over there. There we go. We did manage to turn off the lights. Oh, that is funny. The hand tracking still works even though I'm in flying rusty mode. See, I haven't played with all the fun little bells and whistles in such a long time. A little flying rusty mode. We got a searchlight. How many of these things can we combine? You know, I honestly forgot most of the shortcut keys. What is Virtual Boy mode? Is that this one? No. No, that's hats. That's for hats. We got our lovely little hats. Okay, what is that one? What is that one? Oh, geez. Thought that was disabled. There we go. See, we got fun stuff. Like our Borderlands pop-up, you know, character introduction. That is super bright in the dark. I'm gonna turn the lights back on. See, so much fun stuff that I forgot what we all had. I just forgot what we all had. I'm eager to get it all put back together. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, okay. So much fun stuff. Still haven't figured out what the, where's wireframe mode? No? I don't know what that one did. H-I-J-K. No, L. Nope, that's that one. Nope, that's teleporting. Oh, no, B. T. Ah, there we go. Is Y. There. Ooh, that looks slick. That looks good. If I say so myself. I just did. Wireframe mode. Looks really good on a nice solid background too. He who T-poses also looks pretty good. Hello there, sir. Hello there, sir. Yes, eager to bring all these bells, whistles, toys, features, whatever you want to call them, right back into the project. Ooh, and this would look really good with just the blank background and the overlaid. Let's see, where's my screen capture button? Ta-da! There we go. All right. Playtime is over. Let's see. Y? Y button. Y button. Where were we? Where were we? Gonna have a... Gotta stay hydrated. Even robots have to stay hydrated. Hydrated, recharged, ready to continue yapping Because let's be honest, a Rusty stream is absolutely full of the chit-chatting. Absolutely full of the chit-chatting. And speaking of chit-chatting, if anybody has any questions about the project, about anything really, I'm cool. Goals, aspirations, help. Gotta get a little bit further this way. Is there really a hole right there in the middle of the board? Let's not do that one. Let's do this one. Bring you up again here. See, this is some of the fun part of setting everything up, is kind of blocking it out and putting it in position, not necessarily in the correct position, but just kind of seeing how it's going to look. And before I mentioned look dev, so that would be, you know, look development. It's where you do that, where you try to get the look of the project, whether it's, you know, a stage, a film, a game level, you know, kind of like the mock-up. I don't think these are lined up. I don't think these two are lined up at all. It is one of the things I'm not quite sure. I would love to know why some of these things are placed where they are. Because I think if I look on my Uno in front of me here, what do we got here? 12.75, and yeah, no, they're off by about 2 millimeters for some reason. And yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they are laid out and designed this way. Like, why is there an indent right there, which we did not model, did we? And it's like, why is this why is this bump out, or what? Why is it bump in right here? Why not just have it go all the way up? There must be some reason that it's that form factor. The original design was for a specific enclosure, a specific application, but at the same time, it's a general use device. Does a regular Mega look like that? Let's bring one up. Arduino Mega. No, a regular one has that same little bit. Interesting. Okay, we need a processor. I'm determined to at least get this Arduino. At least get this part rendered or created tonight. At least get this part created tonight, so we can get it sort of. You know, actually, I'm not sure how much I want to get it materialized, if you will. You know, a correct material on it. I don't know if I want it to be, this one's black and yellow like a bumblebee. The official one is, let's see, instead of yellow, those yellow bars, it's black with kind of a dark bluish or teal. A dark blue or teal circuit board. Where are we? I want a side view. I'll take a front view. Do you have a front view handy? Thank you. We have a front view handy. A little lower. We're just gonna scale things. We're just playing around. This whole project is just playing around. So why are we trying to be so official with it? That was not the right key. Let's see. Thickness, we'll go with a 0.1 and offset. There. Give it a nice little bevel. So instead of using the bevel command, I just did that instead. There. So that is our chip. I'm assuming it's the main processor chip. It would have a whole bunch of little wires coming off of it, but we won't get there. Next we need to do, ooh, this big stop button. I love that big stop button. Oops, and I lost my source material. So in the top corner over here, let's make ourselves another cube. Do I still see these cubes? That's the question. I do. See, it's that setting. That setting is bugged. That is very, very interesting. That the setting would be bugged so bad like that. It literally, it's not even freezing anything up. It's just, it somehow just makes it stop working. And of all things to stop working, the object display. So it still shows the object in the other windows, the views, the orthographic and perspective views. It still shows the object. You can still select and manipulate the object, but it won't show up in the hypergraph or the other way to find objects is called the outliner. Outliner. Where are you? I never use the outliner. I do not like a list view. No, that's not it either. There. The outliner is a boring list view. It's handy when you're working with a ton of objects. It is definitely handy. I think you can search up here too. You can select it right like this. But I'm a very visual person. So I like having the hypergraph panel open. And you can have things with their hierarchy, just like you can the other way, but I like them looking like this. I don't know. It might just be a case of how you learn something. If you learned it a certain way, you might just end up sticking with it like way too long. I.e., forever. Do a rough centering. Close enough. Yes. I am aware of myself enough that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And that is what did it say? Perfection is the enemy of progress, or something like that. There's some kind of pithy saying for it. That basically is, if you focus too much on getting it perfect, you'll never get it done. So I decided to switch modes in case you notice that I'm going quite a bit faster. Decided to switch modes. I was like, you know what? Let's get this more done. We've spent enough weeks on it. Let's just get it rolling. Let's see. Would I want this to move or to scale as a button? As a button, would I want it to move? So like moving like this to simulate it being pressed, you know. Or would I want it to scale? Probably move. Probably move. Otherwise I could just attach a blend shape to it. But it's not deforming, so I think I will just have it move. If I wanted to scale, what I would do is move the pivot point down to here, because then when I scale it, it'll shrink from the top. See? But I think in this case, since there's nothing below it, it doesn't need to act like an accordion and, you know, squish. It wouldn't be squishing. It would definitely be, yeah, scaling. Yeah, there's the right to, yeah. Okay. That's a big button. And let's see. Okay, so here's what it looks like so far, all in this Lambert gray Lambert. Here's what it looks like so far. This is gonna be our table. Not shabby, not shabby. I didn't realize there was that much of a gap in here. Because this is to scale. Oh, I suppose there'd be less of a gap because of the housing around it. So there is a little bit of a gap right here between this servo, floating above a little bit, and the circuit board because, yeah, I have it bolted down. So there's this little flange sticking out. You can kind of see it right here. Blurry, very blurry, right there. There's a little flange sticking out, so you can bolt down this shelf that holds the circuit board. So it's all stacking together. Otherwise, it's gonna flop all over in there whenever I wobble my head around. I do have things pretty well secured, with the exception of this power plug here, and this circuit board here, which is just screwed down to the floating servo mount. Everything else is very well secured. If you look closely, got some big old bolts, big old bolts holding the mouth on right here. Let's see, this is a much smaller bolt, half the size of these, holding the vertical bracket, holds the servo. It's all stuff you don't see unless you're looking at the back of Rusty's head through. There's no back on the back of the head. You're looking through the back of the head. But soon we'll have the physical representation. That's not right either. We already have the physical representation. We will soon have the digital representation. That's gotta kind of reverse the way I'm thinking about things here, because we are working backwards. We're going from physical to the digital realm, the virtual realm even, because we're going to be playing this, walking through this, rambling through this. Okay, we need the input and the barrel jack. I think just for funny's sake, since we are working at different scales, we've got the little USB-C. Got the USB-C, and then we have the power jack. The power jack I'm going to leave as a huge honking power jack. You know, there'll be a big, powerful looking power cable draped over the side of Rusty's head and off to some generator or some. There we go, off to a generator on the floor below. How big is the USB connection? 12. Well, this is the wrong kind. about 12 by a maybe the wrong connection there, but let's try this again. We can still play with the numbers, even though we're not interactively creating, I think is what that menu was called. Yes, interactive creation. We can still obviously play with the numbers here. See, it's set up to 4x4x4 cube. So we don't have to scale it like I was for some of the other pieces, quickly scaling them. We can actually, remember that we are 1 decimal point off. And how deep is it? It's probably half this size, so maybe 10? Make it 10. And now we go like this, and it'll be in the right spot, sort of. Hanging over the edge a little bit, and bring it up to level with the top of the board. Hanging over the edge. Because it does hang over the edge just a little bit, which you can see right here. And for this one, we are going to bevel the edges a bit. Chamfer the edges a bit even. See, these two, because USB-C has that lovely rounded quality to it. Hold up. First, gotta switch things around a little bit. This one. No. What does USB-C look like again? Maybe that. Sink it back in a little. Right, is that what it looks like? I think what I should, for placeholder, this will be fine. But what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to make more of a rounded rectangle because it's very uniform. You have the outside is a rounded, very rounded rectangle. And then the little piece on the inside is also a very rounded rectangle. So this will be a bit more of a placeholder, I believe. Now we grab the outside. And we go find out where the chamfer tool is. There's chamfer vertices, but where is, I guess it might just be a bevel. Just a bevel. Oh, whoops. Let's do this the backwards way. We'll bevel it and ask questions later. That's not too terrible. That's not too terrible. And then we are going to go in here and do the same thing. But I have roughly 0.5 and 3 segments. Oh, there you are. There you are. Except we want to make this significantly more pronounced. Oh, there we go. That is nice. A fraction of 1. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That is good enough for now. That is good enough for now. All right. And we've been really bad, and I think we only saved once. I had to straighten out my back because Nix hasn't hit me with a posture check in a long time here. So he must not be back yet. So he usually knows exactly when I've been slouching too far forward and I really need to give a little stretch. Oh, and I have to remember to set down my actual drink before showing my very well rendered coffee mug here. Very, very well modeled. Yes, very well modeled. Holds lots of liquid. Definitely no holes or problems. But I left it like this. There was a weird error with a Boolean operation. Here in Maya. Weird error with Boolean operation. It's like, you know what? I'm going to leave it. Because, yeah, it's kind of a funny story. Well, not kind of a funny story. It's just, it's kind of an oddity. It should be a super easy thing. A mug. But it's got that weird little error. Sometimes you gotta keep the weird little errors, the weird little things to just kind of remember them, to think about them. Let's see, it's the beauty in the imperfections. Now that mug won't hold. Even digital liquid will go right out of it. So it's not so useful that way. But it makes me remember the bottomless mug policy. Oh, it is absolutely a bottomless mug. But it makes me remember, it's like, stuff happens. Stuff doesn't always work out the way it should. This is my Zen moment here. This stuff doesn't always work out how it should. But sometimes that's just okay. It's not always a terrible thing. Sometimes it just is. There we go. There we go, chat. Sometimes it just is. The bottomless mug policy. Yeah. Bottomless mug of coffee. I'm just going to keep pouring it, and suddenly my foot will be scalded and all sorts of stuff. Though, unlike my real avatar, my virtual avatar, I believe, is wearing some nice boots. So the digital avatar would have, digital coffee pouring all over the floor and everything. But real life Rusty would cry because there's coffee everywhere. So coffee stains, and more importantly, I do not get to drink that coffee. That is the most important part of the tragedy. The tragedy of the bottomless mug. Being literally a bottomless mug. Let's see, barrel jack. Is the barrel jack round? Is it round or is it a rectangle? It is both. Oh, that is something. It is round and it is a rectangle. Okay, we are nearing completion here, which is good because it's already, it's almost 10 o'clock already. But I will be determined to get this in Unity before we wrap up. Whoa, 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions, too many. One too many dimensions here. Get you right there. Should have measured this, but that's okay. You are right on the edge. We'll recess you a little bit. Put you right about there. You're gonna have a giant power cord hanging out of you anyways. How big is this darn thing? It's about 12. Okay. That's about the right size then. If I'm basing it off the USB connector here. Yeah, we'll just leave it right there. We'll just leave it right there. We can attach some dangling power cords spilling over the edge next time. All right, save. Look at our naming policy, folks. Look at our naming policy. That's some very descriptive, object names here, isn't it? Okay. What I am going to do is I'm going to group some of the objects. For instance, the standoffs. And we'll just put these under the main group. So we'll group all that. So group 1 is everything. I said group 1 is everything. Group. Well, that's curious. That's curious. It's not showing up on the other side. So there we go. Group 1, we'll call this Ard Mega. So that is everything that is the Mega. Ah, we're getting an error. Oh, it's not showing up here, even though I have it selected here. Oh, that is a night full of errors. Let's see, P cube. So we're gonna call this board. These are gonna be the standoffs. And what's this one? What are these called? Pin sockets? Probably sockets. I want to give some rough names so I kind of recall. Okay. Nope, looks like we got an ad starting in a minute. We can go for a few more minutes. A few more minutes yet tonight. So fear not, brave viewers. Okay. I think for this look dev, if you will, since we're not hooking up the cables and stuff to it yet, I think we're just going to assign colors when we get into Unity. So I got this saved. I'm gonna make a duplicate. Delete history, so it's not dragging all of this extra information with it. Okay, had that one. So we have this one. Deleted the history, freeze transformations, and combine. There. Will that work? Will that work? Nope, combining will not work. Darn. Combining won't work because... Here, let's undo some things. There we go. Combining won't work because then we cannot assign materials the way that I hack my way through assigning materials. Which is... because these are all separate objects, you can assign a material to each object. It's kind of how I hacky cheat my way through this basic blocking out. So I'm not UV unwrapping anything here. Unity doesn't like that sometimes, as you'll see some funny tearing in the shadows. But for what we're doing here, for what we're doing right now, to block everything out and still kind of capture the look, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. All right, let's see what this looks like. Let's call Ard Mega. 001. Now the fun part of manually copying it over, because I still have not gone over. I still have not gone over and properly tried connecting the two projects, because you can allegedly export back and forth from Maya into Unity, and I haven't been brave enough to do that yet. This is a pretty easy way to do it, though. And there we go. There's our table. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? There's our circuit board table. And the funny part I always forget, that project in Maya is in Rusty scale, not room-sized scale. So yes, this would be the size if it was if we were bringing the actual circuit board into a humanoid scaled project. I believe we have to boost it up to 40, if I remember correctly. Okay. Oh, where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh no. So we're going to delete that. Put it where we actually want it. Which should be in... Where's Rusty? Rusty room. Here we go. Here we go. And now scale it up. So funny enough, it's not in quite the right spot. So I must not have exported it in the exact same orientation in Rusty's room. Come on, where are you? Now where'd you go? Ard Mega. It didn't drop right in there. Okay, let's try this one more time. I have an idea. This is what happens when you don't do a thing every day. There it goes. Ta-da! I had to drop it into... I believe I had to drop it into the Rusty Room project, or game object. And now it is exactly where it is in Maya. See, like if you look at this and then we look at this, you see it is exactly that same distance, because now that's how we do it. That's how we export it. So I'm going to make a mental note. The next time I'm bringing something over from Maya, from Rusty's head in Maya to Rusty's head in Unity, we have to drag it into the Rusty Room game object, and then it will properly place it. Okay, let's get some coloring in here. Standoffs. Material. Oof, that's not the way I do that. That's not the way. Where is this material? because I didn't assign a shader, they don't have the right shader. Here we go. Material, there we go. There we go. Oh, I hope I don't have to do that for every single time. Yellow? Gold? No. Orange? Nope. There's orange. Where are the lovely colors I used on the cabling? And this is what happens when you don't assign them when you bring them over. There we go. Let's make it this opaque color. Can we just drag and drop? Whoa, that's cool. Can we just drag and drop that? Oh, it would have been so much easier to just assign the colors in Maya, wouldn't it? Yes, yes, it absolutely would have been. Well, we learned our lesson now, didn't we? We learned our lesson now. Okay. Let's hop in the hypershade super quick. Get back over here. Okay, let's see. Oh, and these are fongs, so they're gonna be glossy. Darn. Well, we're just doing this for looks. Okay. Okay, the sockets are also yellow? They are also yellow. The board is not one of these colors. So let's make a quick little Lambert. There we go. Create. Come on. Yeah, something is definitely up with the something is definitely up with my Maya right now. Lambert 2, we'll call this board. Oh, that is really curious. Why is my keyboard not working? Maya's misbehaving, everyone. It's not letting me typey. It's not letting me typey. Let's make this a bluish. Bluish, grayish. Assign that to the board. We are having all sorts of issues right now with this. No, this one. Oh gosh, no, don't do that. Yeah, we're definitely not saving this. We are definitely not saving this. Holy smokes. Okay. Board. Yeah, it's not letting us do a darn thing. Okay. Well, anyways. It is what it is. It is what it is. I just want to get this. I think the main board is slightly different color, so we can definitely see it. Dark. I know I have a dark gray hiding in here. Standoffs. It'd be nice if we could do that. Opaque. And I'm going to say that's good enough. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Let's do this, and then we're going to read out. I love it. Over here I have some chairs that I have physics assigned to them, and they're all floating slightly above the ground, so that when I start the game, they fall down to the ground. That's always funny when the camera's facing just the right way. You can see them when hit play. I see them just all crash to the ground. I might as well show these guys off too. The camera won't go low enough, but here are some fun little mascots. A little fan art I did for another streamer, Australian streamer, Tomboy Mecha Pilot. There we go. Named Gene Famous, or Jets. These are little mascots, little jetpack, the chat avatars, if you will. And here they slice through her internet. That's why her internet was not working for a bit, apparently. So I modeled up those guys and making little mischief fan art every now and then. I should really post it on the socials. I've only been posting it in her Discord. Here's our dumpster fire. Let's see, but here we go. There's our board. There's our board. So far, the only textures, the only materials are the standoffs and the board itself, but oh yeah, no collisions, because you have to add those in. We didn't do that yet. But yeah, no, I would say that is absolutely the correct height. That is absolutely the correct height for what I'm looking for. I want it to be a table. We'll model the pins in later, the actual connections from the circuit board to all the little motors, to the LEDs. And you know what? I think that's plenty of detail. Maybe if I add a couple more little what's-its. Maybe some of these little guys. There's a blinky light, I believe, right here. Yeah, these are LEDs. At least these three. I don't know about that show like it being on and communication. But yeah, we're gonna have all the cabling sticking out of there, connecting it to these servos. Like we have those wires right there. They'll go from the board sitting on top of this servo over there. Or maybe we'll just take this board and have it hanging from the ceiling or something. Where it realistically should be anyways, instead of resting on the other box. But I think, aside from some mishaps, I think we're doing just fine tonight. I'm gonna leave it right here. I'll lock the camera so it doesn't move all over the place while I'm scrolling outside the program. Because it does that. That's just how I have it set up. All right, let us see. We got we're getting close on time, so I'm gonna have to raid and run. I am gonna have to raid and run. Let's see. But yes, I want to thank you all for stopping by. Those of you who just dropped by, those of you who were part of the raid earlier from Noodlecat, have fun checking in on their streams, and the Red Dead Redemption playthrough. Though every time I had a little bit of dyslexia with the RD2D, Red Dead Redemption 2. My brain automatically goes R2D2. And I'm not so much of a dyslexic person either. But that one gets me every time I see it. It's like, ooh, R2D2? What's going on with R2D2 here? All right. Let's go hop in Monday Magic with Nova. Oh, let's go check in on Endeavor. They're doing looks like a cool DJ stream. Another VTuber doing crazy cool stuff. My guess would be in Unreal, if I were to guess. think I have a raid message. Oh, that is not the command for the raid message, apparently. So let us do some dancing dinosaurs. Rusty robot raid. Copy that for myself. And again, thank you all for stopping by. We will hopefully see you again on Wednesday this week. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. So 8 p.m. again. We will be doing our final playthrough, or our finale of our SimCity 2000 playthrough. We are going to make it to 2025. We are going to. I'm going to stop right on, looks like March. We're going to stop March 2025. Bam, see how it goes. Although I might find an abandonware copy of Streets of SimCity and drive through the city in the distant future. But anyways, thank you for stopping by. Have fun with Endeavor. See you on Wednesday or see you around elsewhere. Good night, everyone.